Hello all, and welcome to the video companion for the Talking Time Let's Play of Final Fantasy XIV. I'm McDowell, and today we'll be tackling one of the two level 50 dungeons released with patch 2.0, Amdapor Keep. We're here today for two reasons. The first is that our old friends the Lambs of Dalamud cult have found their way into this castle belonging to the ancient Amdapori civilization. The Amdapor civilization had a lot of magical power at its disposal, including the ability to alter the fabric of reality. Needless to say, a cult that worships a moon that crashed into the planet, releasing a great dragon from it, and altered the face of Eorzea forever, shouldn't have access to the power contained within. Until now, the elementals of the 12s would have kept them at bay, but somehow the Lambs found a way in. The second reason we're here is that Rowena wants a glyph from deep within the palace in exchange for some reference material that Geralt needs to craft a relic weapon for Satsensui. Please forgive any weird continuity errors that you might notice regarding quest logs, job levels, and so forth. One part of working on this patch content is I've got several different projects sitting in the hopper. It's actually a lot more refreshing being able to work on multiple things at once, and if I get burned out with working on something, I can step over to another project, such as working on Binding Coil of Bahamut, the main scenario quest, alternate jobs, crafting, whatever. So in this run, I'm with a few free company mates, and Garrelon Sadducees is the party tank, so he's going to be pulling like an absolute maniac. And the layout of this dungeon absolutely allows for that. Long corridors full of cultists conducting rituals, large open courtyards, and now that we're finally level 50 natively in dungeons, everybody's got something in their kit to deal lots of AoE damage and kill large packs of enemies in a short amount of time. For Dragoon, that's Doomspike. And now that I'm saying that, I realize that this is your first look at Dragoon in action in this Let's Play. Although there'll be lots of opportunities soon, as you, the readers and viewers, have decided that Satsensui will be rolling as a Dragoon for the 7th Astral Era portion of this game. Very quickly, though, for this first boss coming up, you want to burn him down, stun or silence him to keep him from overwhelming the party with ads, and he'll go down very quickly. Gee, the Lambs of Dalamud sure have a thing for mind flayers, don't they? Anyway, on to Dragoon's kit. At level 50, they have two distinct 3-hit combos, both of which originate with True Thrust. From there, you can either choose to go with Disembowel to Chaos Thrust, or to Vorpal Thrust to Full Thrust. Disembowel to Chaos Thrust deals less damage, but Disembowel grants a damage buff for 30 seconds, and Chaos Thrust has a rear positional bonus and inflicts damage over time for 24 seconds. Vorpal Thrust to Full Thrust has no positional component, but they both deal significantly more damage with their potency chain. Piercing Talon is largely ignorable because the situations where you'll be off the boss for longer than a GCD will be very few and far between, because the boss will likely be invulnerable or untargetable. And for the situations where you're off the boss, the Dragoon has many tools in its kit to keep you on the boss as much as possible in the form of their jumps. At level 50, Dragoon has 4 different jumps, each with their own different properties and uses. The basic jump is a 30-second OGCD attack that launches you at the enemy and returns you to your origin point. Spine Shatter Dive is a 90-second OGCD that puts you on the enemy's targeting ring. Dragonfire Dive is a 2-minute OGCD that also puts you on the target's targeting ring and damages all enemies close to it. Finally, there's Elusive Jump, which deals no damage but causes a 15-yalm backflip, allowing the Dragoon to disengage from an enemy, or, as you'll be seeing in this video, closing the distance rapidly in preparation for a boss pull. It's important to pause for a beat after you face the direction you wish to execute the backflip, because, almost imperceptibly, the character model is rotating rapidly when you move the control stick from up to down. If you hit Elusive Jump during this rotation, you could end up activating it halfway and flipping off into some random direction. And if it's possible to fall off a platform in a boss fight, then you're going to have a bad time. For the miscellaneous other abilities, Dragoon has one AoE GCD attack at level 50, and that's Doom Spike, which hits all enemies in a short line in front of your character. It's important to position yourself carefully so you're maximizing this AoE damage. Lance Charge has a 15% damage boost for 20 seconds and is available every 90 seconds. And Life Surge grants the next GCD attack you use to automatic crit and drains a portion of the damage as healing. Can't be applied to Chaos Thrust, so you're going to want to pop it for your biggest potency attack, and that's Full Thrust. Most basic GCD attacks have a potency of 100 to 140 across all the classes. Full Thrust has a whopping 530 potency when executed in a combo, meaning with Lance Charge and Life Surge up, you're going to see some huge single hits from Full Thrust. The second boss of the Amdapor Keep is Final Fantasy series staple boss Demon Wall. In previous games, the wall would slide toward the player and smoosh them flat. Instead, the wall has a long, narrow arena, no guardrails, so if you get pushed away by its repel attack, you can go flying into the abyss and need to be revived by the healer. There honestly isn't much to be said about Amdapor Keep itself, just piles and piles of void synth that need to be killed. One thing you might notice is that this dungeon is largely open to run from boss room to boss room, grabbing every single enemy in between, with proper use of mitigation cooldowns by the tank, allowing the party to AoE the entire batch to death. This has led to kind of a schism between players. Some want this style of Leroy Jenkins kind of wall-to-wall pull, but not all players feel comfortable doing this, and for example, you might have a new tank who's not confident in their skill yet and takes it easy with the pulls, paired up with a healer that wants to burn everything with their AoE, sneaking off and grabbing more enemies than the tank is comfortable dealing with. Or, on the flip side of that coin, you might have a healer who's not quite up to the full grasp with their toolkit, not sure when to burn their off-blow while healing to keep the tank alive, who's pulling the entire planet, and causes the party to wipe when the tank inevitably dies. It's a real concern, and my advice to any tank in this game is a quick ask to the healer at the start of a dungeon: are you fine with big pulls? Future dungeons will start to employ the gating that keeps egregiously large pulls like this to a minimum. You'll notice when I was talking over all of that, we're now up in front of the final door of that boss, which is the case in point. The last boss of this dungeon is Amdapor. If your DPS is solid, you shouldn't have to worry about any mechanics to this fight. However, if you see the boss cast Imminent Catastrophe, position yourself behind one of the statues to minimize the amount of damage dealt. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. The link to the full LP is in the description below, and may you ever walk in the light of the crystal.